it's Morgan, welcome back to my channel. There was this meme going around a while ago which was describe yourself in 3 fictional characters, or 3 fictional characters that you relate to. Well, I had a really hard time narrowing it down to just 3, so I picked my top 10. I loved hearing everybody else's answers, and I have so many. I love relating to fictional characters. That is like my thing. That is one of my favorite things about the world and about reading and movies and entertainment and everything that I love. So I'm gonna start with my top 10 fictional characters that I relate to. At number 10, we have Robin Scherbatsky from How I Met Your Mother. She's kind of more of a career-centered, independent woman. She's nice and she cares about people, but she doesn't always come across that way. She can be a little intimidating. So she can also be hilarious and funny, and she's not afraid to say what she thinks. So Robin Scherbatsky. Number 9 would be Harry from Harry Potter. So when I first read these books, I really identified with Harry. I'm not sure if I would today, but I feel like he was one of those childhood icons or role models or something like that. Because he was kind of that overlooked boy in school. He didn't really fit in, people kind of picked on him, and then he randomly got swept up to this new school where everyone thought he was really cool. And that happened to me, except I wasn't a wizard and it wasn't Hogwarts, but I was at this private school where I was kind of the odd one out because I wore like secondhand clothes and I didn't go to the same church as everyone because my parents aren't Christian, and I just got made fun of a lot, beat up sometimes, and then I switched to public school. And all that stuff still happened, but I was still the new girl, and I seemed kind of cool, and my parents lived in a nicer area of town, and everyone wanted to get to know me, so just a little bit of that transition. But also Harry's personality in general. He's kind of like, I'm gonna do my own thing. Oh wait, you want me to lead? Okay, I'll try. Also, I was definitely an angsty teenager. Very much an angsty teenager, so I relate to him on that level too. Next, I have Asami from Korra, The Legend of Korra. Asami was not necessarily my favorite character, but she's pretty relatable. That sounds like I didn't like her. I like Asami. You know, she's smart and she's hardworking and resourceful. You know, she's pretty intelligent and she works with technology and she kind of takes over her dad's company. I am not taking over my dad's company. My dad's not evil, but he does run a technology company and I do work for him. Next, I have Charles Xavier from the X-Men. I relate to Charles more so in the movies than the comics. I always liked him in the comics, but in the movies I think they dial him back and make him more relatable than this like father mentor figure. Maybe it's just because he's younger. I sometimes have this naive, optimistic, idealistic view of the world, and I kind of do my own thing, and I'm like, oh yes, this is gonna be fun, let's learn about all this stuff, let's work together, let's do all these good things, don't worry, you know, bad things are never gonna happen, these certain people are never gonna get into power. Then it happens, and then I just am like, oh, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? Especially that scene in X-Men First Class when he comes in and the kids have just totally wrecked the place. When he's telling like Moira and the CIA agents like, you're gonna be so impressed, these kids, they're amazing. And then they walk in and the kids are like having a party and trashing everything. I have been in that situation so many times where I try to talk people up because I always see the best in people, and then sometimes they don't show their best moments when they're meeting the people that they should be impressing. At number 6, I have Shawn Spencer from Psych, the TV show. I love Shawn. I think he's hilarious and funny, and when I watched him, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like what I've done with my life, because he's starts out in like his early 20s and he's not really doing anything, and he still has the same best friend from when he was in elementary school, and he likes to try a bunch of different jobs and then have fun while he's doing it. I feel like he likes to help people and have fun, and he likes to be the center of attention, and I'm not as extreme in any of those ways, but I will definitely have fun in any way I can, and I did, when I couldn't decide what to do, I decided to start a Harry Potter Alliance chapter with my childhood best friend, and we kind of did everything together, and it was very, very psych-like, but minus the dead bodies and minus, you know, we dialed it back to a realistic level. I relate to Anya because she's just so different and she just says what she's thinking, and everyone's like, why are you thinking that? Now, we think very different things. Anya tends to talk about sex a lot and I don't do that. But I will be at a very serious meeting and start talking about Avatar and people are like, how does this even relate? Or I'll just say something really random about the bird in the tree and they're like, okay, we're talking about this. Your mind is clearly not here. And I'll be like, I thought everybody was thinking that, you know, or what are we gonna do to solve this problem? Well, if we had fire powers, then this would be the solution. And I'm like, why? Why do you say that? At number 4, we have Kitty Pryde from X-Men. I'm specifically going to do Kitty from X-Men Evolution, even though I relate to her a little bit across the board. But in X-Men Evolution, she's just a very down-to-earth, normal teenager that happens to have superpowers, which is awesome. I don't have the superpowers, but I think that I have superpowers. But I think I just related to her on that level where she could pretend and try and blend in and be with everyone else. And people sometimes make assumptions of her that she's ditzy or that she's normal or anything like that. But she's actually really badass and cool and has superpowers, just for anybody that's watching. Number 3, I have Claudia from Warehouse 13. Claudia is this really cool tech girl. She's resourceful. She says what she's thinking. She has a problem where she always has to be moving and doing things, and I relate to that so much. I'm definitely one of those people that is a kinesthetic learner. My roommate in college made fun of me because she was like, I was taking this test the other day and it was asking me these questions like, do you have to move? And I'm like, this girl, this is Morgan, because there was a time where I couldn't even wait for the microwave. Like if it was 30 seconds, I had to literally jump up and down because I cannot sit still, which is why it's so hard, because I broke my foot and I can't move. But anyway, Claudia, she's always doing something. She likes to touch things and pick them up and play with them. And at the warehouse, there's a lot of like, you know, cursed objects and magical objects, and it's not necessarily the best quirk to have, but I have that too. I will pick things up and play with them while I talk. I will move while I do stuff. But, you know, overall personality, she can come across as a little bossy or in your face, but she actually really likes people and she's nice and she just kind of jokes around with people and gets the job done, and I relate to her so much. Like if I had to pick someone to represent me, it would probably be her. Number 2, I have Regina Mills from Once Upon a Time. I should explain with this character and the next one that it is the like later seasons that I relate to her. I did not relate to her at the beginning when she's the evil queen and places a curse on everyone and tries to ruin their lives. But a few seasons later, when we see her redemption arc, that is when I started relating to her. And maybe it's because I feel like I was a villain in my past. I don't think that. I don't associate myself with that. But again, I was a very like angsty teenager, and as a kid, I did do things sometimes or say things sometimes without thinking about them that ended up hurting other people's feelings, or they got hurt, and I always felt really bad about it afterwards. And I did have that feeling when I would go into new groups of like, oh, I'm sorry that I hit you, I won't do it again. We can try to be friends? Maybe, I don't know. And then just kind of getting fed up with it and being like, whatever, I'm gonna do my own thing. If you wanna be my friend, be my friend. I like you, we're friends, but don't expect me to be nice to you all the time. Regina also, she's in charge. She's a leader. She's good at what she does. She has no problem doing things on her own or for herself. She likes other people and, you know, she wants a family, but she's made it very clear that like falling in love is just part of her happy ending. And I love that attitude of, I want this full life, you know, I want friends and I want accomplishments for myself. Like I don't just want to fall in love and have a family. Number 1, the character that I relate to the most currently is Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, again, not in season 1. Zuko, like Regina, has this redemption arc that we see throughout the show, and he starts off as a very angsty teenager who's on the bad side, but I still wouldn't say he's evil. He's trying to capture the Avatar, not kill him, and he has a lot of chances to actually like hurt people, but he ends up helping them or just not hurting them. I remember when I was like 14, my mom said that I was gonna have to be sent to anger management camp if I did not get a grip on myself. I did have to step back and look at my life and say, I'm so frustrated with myself because I'm not who I want to be. I don't know who I want to be. I don't know what I want to do. I thought I wanted all these things, and now I'm getting all these things, but they're not making me happy, and I'm mad at myself and I don't understand why. I still have moments like this and I go through them, but they get less and less, you know, angsty each year or time that I go through them. Thankfully, my father's more like Iroh than Ozai, but I did definitely go through a lot of what Zuko went through on a smaller level. And so seeing him go through that and then grow up to be this person that I think is very similar to how I am actually made me realize that I probably was even more like him in season 1 and 2 than I want to admit. Oh my gosh, there's this video I wish I could show you of me and my family. We're on like a trip to Atlantis in the Bahamas, where you think would be really cool. I'm like 12 years old in this video, and I have those cornrows, you know, so my hair is all like pulled back like Zuko and it's into this little ponytail. my mom is like, Morgan, say hi to the camera. And I just glare. Like I literally glare at the camera and walk away. And then my sister's in the background like doing something crazy. My sister is also like a nice version of Azula. Like if you took away the evil crazy part, then you have my sister because she's a perfectionist and she's good at everything. And she relates to Aang, but I think she's more like Azula. She also calls me Momo and Azula called Zuko, Zuzu. Zuko and I are both very persistent. Like if I know I want to do something and this is a goal, I'm gonna work towards that goal, even if I fail, which I will probably fail a lot. You know, Ira's always like, Zuko, you don't think things through. I don't think things through either. Anyway, in short, very, very short, I relate to Zuko because he was redeemed and his personality once he's redeemed seems to be a little bit like my personality. All right, well, those are the characters that I relate to the most. Let me know in the comments below what 3 characters you relate to the most, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. My cat is gonna kill me because I've locked him out of my room for a very long time to film this video. So I don't want to keep him or you waiting any longer. You hear him? Yeah, he's loud. All right, he's really loud. See you next time.